Oh, it's Joe off. I'm here to talk about the World Cup and what it will bring to the US this summer. I figured this was a pressing topic since we are finally hosting the World Cup, and I'm sure many people are stoked about the possibility of even going to one game. For those of you who don't know, the World Cup is a soccer tournament where nations compete against one another in a 4 year long adventure, from qualifying rounds and tournaments to the official bracket. The World Cup is the most prestigious tournament in the world across all sports. For example, FIFA, the federation that owns the World Cup, generated upwards of $7.5 billion on just the men's side in 2022. To host a World Cup, a nation must have all the infrastructure, stadiums, transportation systems, hotels, security, etc. In Qatar 2022, these infrastructure projects needed to be built on the spot. The stadiums alone cost $6.5 billion, while it's estimated that the total cost was around $220 billion for a new public transportation system for their 2030 plan. The hidden costs were the worst part, though. In the process of building up hotels, stadiums, and metros, it has been reported that thousands of migrant workers died, although Qatar only reported 37 deaths. So it is important to recognize there might be some extra costs behind the scenes, but this has not been confirmed. Qatar made only about $17 billion in revenue. The long-term benefits are in the infrastructure, like the metro plan. Now, because we already have the stadiums thanks to American football and a semi-working transportation system, we do not have to pour hundreds of $billions into preparing for the tournament, and most of the cities should expect a profit. In 1994, however, when we last hosted the World Cup, we overestimated profits by a lot, and most cities ended up taking a loss. Most of these profits, of course, come from ticket sales. This is the major difference between the 1994 and 2026 tournaments. 30 years ago, the cheapest price was $25, and the cheapest ticket for the final was $475. This summer, however, the cheapest ticket is $60, which is roughly comparable to the $54 in 1994 money. The current estimated cheapest final ticket price, though, is $6,700, which is 6 times more expensive than the $1,000 it would have cost in 1994 money. In order to make a monetary and social profit, the US must recognize we are under upwards of 10 billion eyes and lots of short-term losses. The question is whether we can solidify long-term investments, since if we focus on short-term jobs and high ticket prices, many people will see that we face instability and debt, which are already major national concerns. So, under immense pressure, will the US prioritize affordability and financial stability for all soccer fans, or are we just creating a moment for rich influencers and billionaires?